It's the Shatkin First Down pregame show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo Bills alum Thurman Thomas. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. We're going to set the table for you with a breakdown of the incredible second half comeback for the Bills and their win over the Ravens. We're also going to talk about the Steeler game. Steelers come in huge underdogs with a new rookie quarterback taking on the Bills. We'll talk about that. We'll also have Thurman Thomas, Bills Hall of Famer, on the show. Dr. Jared Shatkin will pop in as he always does in the opening and closing segments. We'll have the Mafia here. Sam Castronova will be in the pocket. We'll do Tino's Dough with some gift certificates up for grabs for Bills trivia and a whole lot more. But first, all right, time for the water cooler with Dr. Jared Shatkin. I wasn't able to say that a year ago. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Let's talk about that big win for the Bills, 23-20, a comeback win. They end that 7-game losing streak with the one-score games, which is great. It's the first time they've come back from 17-plus down since 2011, I think was the stat. Remarkable second half for the team. But let's start with the first half for the team. And Josh in particular, I noticed, they take on the Dolphins. Tua's coming off that big game he had against the Ravens, and Josh early was a little shaky. Lamar's coming off a big game in the Raven game. Josh a little shaky, little overhyped. Got to calm it down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the weather played a little bit of a role with him. I think he couldn't really get comfortable in the pocket in the beginning of the game. And I do think he was forcing it. I think maybe that Dolphins game was on his mind. He left a little bit angry and upset. And he didn't have quite as much of a fun time as he usually has on the field. I thought last Sunday, I think it started off a little bit similar to that, but I think he started to get comfortable later on in the game.
Yeah, when he needed to, right? I mean, whatever they did at halftime, that magic that they whipped up in their giant cauldron, Halloween is coming, everybody, by the way. Whatever they whipped up, man, I mean, what a difference the two halves made. But Josh admittedly didn't get a lot of help. A lot of drop balls in that game. Ball went right through Diggs' hands for a touchdown, and a lot of tips as well. And I wonder how a 6'5" quarterback gets so many balls tipped at the line of scrimmage. My only guess is these are guys that are not penetrating the pocket, and they're coached, hey, if you can't get at them, put your hands up and see what happens, right?
Yeah, most of those D linemen are also about 6'5", 6'7". And also Josh always tries to change his arm angles on a lot of passes. He gets kind of creative with it, which is really nice for us a lot of the time, but a little bit in that game I think maybe got a little too creative and they ended up tipping some balls. And yeah, the turnovers are what kind of killed us. And yeah, I do think maybe some of those plays by Josh did play a role in the beginning, but luckily, like we said, he came out strong at the end.
Everyone this week in Buffalo media has been talking about the run game and the lack thereof of it. I maintain that the offensive line didn't play together at all in the preseason. Saffold's new, Brown in his second year, right? There's some moving parts in there, injuries kind of all over the place. I just think they need, and they talk about this word all the time, and Aaron Kromer's the wizard of offensive lines, chemistry. They need to develop it, give it time. But I will say this, I would love to see Singletary and Cook together. I don't know if Zach Moss is the answer. He had the 3rd and 1. It was blocked down perfectly. Didn't have the vision to cut back and get that first down. What are your thoughts on making the run game? I guess maybe more traditional.
How many times do we see that same play by Zach Moss too, a 3rd and 1, or we run it right down the middle on 2nd and 9. He gets like 1 yard. So yeah, he does some good things. He's a tough runner, but I think at this point you kind of got to cut ties with him. I believe that Singletary, even though he had that fumble early and we kind of got kicked in the foot by that fumble early, I think he did play a pretty good game overall. He was catching the ball well and he was seeing the field well. And I think he's had a pretty good season, honestly, running the ball and catching the ball at the backfield. And maybe he deserves to be featured a little bit more. I believe James Cook needs a little bit more of a leash because he has one drop ball and they take him out and he gets 2 snaps the entire game. And we're talking about a 2nd-round pick. This guy is talented.
Involve him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Good athlete, good size. Let's switch over to the defense very quickly. In my opinion, at this point, whatever you got to do with Trey White, don't rush him back. Yeah. Right at this point, the defense has been great. They've given up 7 points in the second half of the entire season and no points in the third quarter yet in the second half. Pretty remarkable. They've done a great job. Poyer, obviously, and Milano. I know you want to talk about those guys for sure.
Yeah, those are 2 guys who are the top defensive players on our team right now. Absolutely. Jordan Poyer's playing on a different level. He has 4 picks in 3 games. That last play, he read the entire play, went and picked the ball, and, he's just having a great season. And Matt Milano is if you watch the film on him, it might be one of the most impressive linebacker film we've seen. He runs through the gap and he makes a tackle almost behind the line. I don't know, I'd say 20% of the time, which is kind of insane for an outside linebacker to be able to see the game like that. And I mean, Tremaine Edmonds, they both have really, really good chemistry going on right now.
And we talked about Von Miller last week. He showed up too. Had a sack, had a couple of hurries as well, and they held Mark Andrews in check as well. Leslie Frazier in the defense, despite the injuries, has been fantastic. We'll talk to you again in the last segment. Dr. Jared Shatkin. More coming up as Thurman Thomas, the Bills Hall of Fame running back, joins us coming up next on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
I am so happy with my experience that I had at I Smile Spas today. Got my teeth professionally whitened. I have months of results in less than an hour. No pain, seriously, not even a sting. They're not sensitive. You leave with a kit to continue your whitening. Absolutely incredible. I'm so happy I ever did this. I can't stop smiling.
Western New York. Smile again with confidence. Call 43-SMILE today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
Okay, Russ, start by reading the first line, please.
S-T-E-A-K.
Okay, the next line?
Chops. C-H-O-P-S.
Are you reading the right chart?
Of course I am. I'm not blind.
How about the last line?
Printed in Taiwan.
No, the line above that.
Where would you like to have dinner tonight?
Russell's, of course!
Be my guest and let us do the rest.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Bills Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas back again for another year. How you doing, man? Great to see you.
Great to see you. How are you doing?
We're good, man. We're good. We're excited about the team and especially about a 17-point turnaround in that Baltimore game. Holy cow. I mean, does that speak to the resilience, the no quit, and certainly the leadership of the coaching staff and their quarterback who leads by example on the field, or what?
I think it's a combination of everything. They've been building this type of roster for a number of years now. And I had an appearance down in Baltimore, and one of the loudest response that I got it wasn't because I said Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs or Von Miller. It was because I said to the crowd, Bill Mafia at a tailgate, that the two guys that we should give the most respect for, the loudest clap for, is Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. And when I said it, the crowd went crazy, because those two guys have really put together an outstanding roster. I think this is one of the toughest years ever since I've been really kind of a Buffalo Bill and a fan since retiring, that this was some of the hardest decisions that they had to make at every single position on the football field. So that tells you right there how diligently they do their work and how often they really scout guys and really get a feel for them in their system. And I think really, I saw this years and years ago when they signed Micah Hyde and when they signed Jordan Poyer. I knew that you had a legit dual safety in the National Football League. And to be honest with you, I know this has been a great run for Josh, but on the back end of that, those two guys have kept that secondary together for all these number of years from when they first got here. And you hate to see it, what happened to Micah. I'm sure he's going to be back strong next year. He's already hashtag 23 and 23. And so, and now look at Jordan Poyer. 4 interceptions. I mean, I'd pay him a contract. I mean,
yeah, right?
Yeah, like, what do you want to do? But you know what? That's the mindset of Brandon Beane. If he is going to get that done, I'm hoping that he'll get it done before the season is over with. But right now, don't let anything distract Jordan. Don't just let him go out and play ball. And I think when it all comes down to Will we re-sign him? I would love to do that. I think he still has a number of years left in him. And then on the flip side of that, you got Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, you're going to pay. So there's a lot of things that are going around with, and he has done an excellent job of that. And I really take my hat off to him, because those two guys have ran the last 3 or 4 years outstanding.
You know, the run game has really come under fire. You know, you pretty much are hearing it on Twitter. You're hearing it on local radio and TV about how this team cannot run. And I maintain, and I'd love to get your take on this, you know, the O-line, you put Saffold in, he was new to the group. They really didn't have much, if any, game experience together in the preseason. And for me, you know, you hear the term chemistry all the time with offensive lines. What do you think about that? That maybe it's just a matter of time?
I would love to see a little bit more of James Cook. I think when I was talking to Steve and them last week about, like, when they ran that pitch play to Zach Moss, I was really kind of hoping that it was James Cook that got the 40-yard run. I think he would have scored, right? And for a second there, I thought it was 28, but it turned into a 20. But I think right now, you know, Josh has been our guy on offense. He's been throwing the ball and throwing it very, very well. You've seen a lot of short passes. I mean, Singletary is having a great year as far as receptions out of the backfield, you know, getting them in the 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3 situations. And it's been good for Josh, because we haven't really had a full Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, you know, where has he been? You know, then McKenzie got hurt, and now you come in with the rookies. I mean, it's a flowing thing, but I think right now, with Josh is going the way he's going, I think, you know, if they're not going to run the ball, you know, at least keep trying. I mean, and I told this guy too, it's hard for you to get into a rhythm when you're coming in and out. I mean, Moss is in for 3 plays, Cook comes in for 2, Singletary comes in for 5. I mean, and that's hard to try to get any kind of rhythm as far as you know, looking for an offensive line, what type of plays that you're going to run. So I think they just have to keep plugging it. I think eventually they will have to realize and say, hey, guys, you 5 guys up front, we need a running game.
Let's talk a little bit about Pittsburgh. Man, 14-point underdogs. Obviously, they make a quarterback change last week. What's Kenny Pickett and Mike Tomlin's approach going into this game?
There's been a number of first-year quarterbacks in the National Football League who have been drafted number 1 that have come in their first year and totally just tanked it. Haven't played well. I mean, Troy Aikman didn't play well in his first year. Peyton Manning, I don't think, played well. John Elway. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so him being in a really stable organization will help him. I think the best person for him is Mike Tomlin. You know what? This might be one of those years where the Steelers don't make the playoffs, which doesn't happen a lot, because his organization's been good from the start to right now. And you just kind of wish, should they have drafted a quarterback 2 years ago when they knew Bennett Roethlisberger was going to, you know, maybe was going to retire? Did you then prepare for it then? So I say let the kid out there. I know he's going to get, and even if he does well, he can say, you know what? Look what I did against the number 1 or number 2 ranked defense in the National Football League. I put up 330 points. Yeah, we lost by 20, but still, I put up some numbers. And that'll give you more confidence going into wherever they're going to play, because they might not see another defense like that one again.
And I'll tell you what, Najee Harris is due to break out. He's averaging, I think, 3.5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. And if he gets going and then they can open it up a little bit, you know, you watch out. They have a very talented receiver core with Johnson and with Claypool and the kid out of Georgia, Pickens, and their tight end's a big kid that can move. So they got some players on the offense.
Yeah, they do. And I'm not really even sure about their offensive line. And one of the key figures that we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks has been our pass rush. You know, how is their pass rush going to how is our pass rush going to get at them? I mean, do they have some rookies up front? I have no idea, because I watch Bills football and I turn off the TV. I'm done for the day. And plus I got to get ready for our hockey season. I think the Sabres going to start off hot. They have to. We have to all ride this momentum. And I think they're going to start their first 10 games going to be important to them. But yeah, it's a thing that a good problem that you like to have. I think it'll be not an easy victory, but at the end, we'll make sure that we're the team on top.
Yeah, like I said, Steelers always play tough. We know that. Thurman, you're the best, man. Enjoy the game, all right?
All right, appreciate it. You
Thanks
too.
for doing it, man. I really appreciate it.
That's right. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Mini dental implants are life-changing. We have patients that come in with partial dentures, loose teeth, cracked teeth, and in pain, and they're able to leave and we can restore teeth on that same day sometimes. People are smiling, they're chewing, they're eating better than ever, and it's all thanks to mini dental implants.
These implants, these are God-given teeth in an hour or two. They're that good.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
Family is the most important to us above everything else. 34 Group is a general construction company.
We had a part in rebuilding the community. We choose Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York because they are reliable.
It's just great coverage, and we have a great relationship with the folks at Highmark. We want our legacy to just be that we were good people that loved our community.
It is definitely a love affair, I can tell you that right now.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Thanks to Thurman Thomas for joining us on the program. Time for the Mafia, but before we get to this group, it's time to do In the Pocket. All right, we go in the pocket with All-Pro Arena League quarterback Sam Castronova from the Albany Empire. We got to talk about Kenny Pickett. Not a lot of book on him, obviously. Came in relief of Trubisky last week, 10-13, but threw 3 picks. What do we know about Kenny Pickett? How are we stopping him?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 3 picks, I think PFF said technically he didn't throw any picks because they weren't, any of them were his fault. But 4-year starter at Pitt, he's decisive with the ball. It's going to be a tough test for him week 1 in the NFL. I think he's got a good shot at a good future in the league, but it's gonna be tough for him week 1, I think.
Yeah, Sam, thanks for that. 7 of 10 are the Bills under McDermott against rookie quarterbacks, and of course they're going up against Kenny Pickett. You kind of feel bad for Mitch Trubisky who comes in, and you wonder if that Steeler team is broken up at all in terms of, was somebody on the Trubisky train, was somebody on the Pickett train? You wonder. We'll see, obviously, in the game coming up. Let's introduce you to the members of the Mafia who join us now. We're going to do Tino's Dough with some trivia coming up in the 2-minute drill in a second. Before we get there, we got Bob, we got Vic, and we got Ulysses Badcalli.
It's Badcalli. It's starting to sound like everybody else in the NFL.
You are an official, obviously.
I am.
I'm curious about the Nike swoosh on your hat there, Ulysses.
Well, Nike decided to sponsor all the refs this year.
Okay.
And so we're wearing the swoosh.
And I understand that the Rooneys are part owners of Nike?
Well, they own 35%, but believe me, it will not play into any of my calls this weekend.
Of course it won't, Ulysses, but thanks for being part of the Mafia.
Thank you.
Let's move on to real things now. And Vic, I'm going to start with you. In terms of talking about last week's game looking forward, I know a lot of people are talking about the run game for the Bills and the inability to do it. They're talking, hey, look we're using our running backs in the pass game that makes up for our run deficiency. What do you make about what's going on and not having that real go-to number 1 runner?
I'm not too worried about their winning. I mean, that's the key, right? Do what you got to do to win. They're a passing team. It's a passing league. So they get their runs when they need to. Otherwise, I'm happy.
Bob, what do you make of Josh? We talked last week 80% of the touches against Miami, but let's be honest, everything that happened in that second half was largely because of Josh Allen. Still good with that? Are you nervous that this is going to eventually catch up to him as we get deep into the season?
No, Josh is an unbelievable athlete. He's a special cat, and there's only a couple quarterbacks like him. The other night when Kansas City was playing against Tampa Bay, they made reference to how much everything seems to be so much easier for Mahomes, and Josh has to work harder. Maybe that has something to do with the scheme that Kansas City has, and maybe McDermott needs to work on that more with the offensive coordinator. But Josh is an unbelievable athlete, and we've been waiting 20 years for this quarterback.
The Bills are 14-point favorites in this game. It's nuts. It's the biggest spread in terms of the Steelers being underdogs in their history coming into this game, but they always play the Bills tough, right? I mean, they beat the Bills in a game last year that they didn't think, nobody thought. I thought that the Steelers were going to beat the Bills in that game a year ago, and they did. All right, let's move on. It's time for the 2-minute drill. And time for some Tino's dough. We got gift certificates at Sorrentino's on Main Street in Williamsville if you guys collectively get these trivia questions correct. And they're all about the history of the Bills and Steelers. Here's question number 1. You ready, guys? Opener, 1978 Rich Stadium. Steelers win 28-17. They got 5 points from their field goal kicker, who held the record for the longest field goal in the league for 43 years until Matt Prater broke it in 2013. Who was that kicker? Bills kicker, 1978.
Was it the kid with the club foot? What was his name?
You're thinking of Tom Dempsey.
That's right. Tom Dempsey is absolutely right. Yeah. Question number 2, guys.
I was there.
I believe it.
I also was there when he missed the kick against the Dolphins in the pouring
Let's
rain.
not go there.
Sorry.
We're trying to keep it positive, guys. Yeah. December 82, this future Birmingham Stallion in a 13-0 Bills win rushed for 143 yards. He's 4th all-time in Bills rushing.
Joe Cribbs.
Joe Cribbs is right. Well,
Cribbs.
way to go,
Way to go,
Bob.
Bobby.
Last one, 92, AFC divisional playoff game against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. This offensive lineman caught a touchdown pass in this game. In fact, this offensive lineman holds the record for most touchdown catches by an offensive lineman in a season with 3. Who was it? He was a backup. And I'll give you a hint. He wore a lot of face paint.
Mitch Farrar.
Mitch Farrar, Bob, you carried that back. You carried the team. Way to go.
Mr.
Can't
Tino.
remember my kids' names, but I know.
That's awesome. Good job, guys. And thanks for being here again, Sam. Great job within the pocket. Ulysses,
We'll be talking.
I don't want to even hear from you on Sunday, okay?
Timeout.
Put the whistle
It is a timeout. It's time to take a break. We'll come back and break down the Bills and the Steelers. We'll welcome Dr. Jared Shatkin back in after the injury report and more as we continue with the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, the clinical director here at the new Shatkin Dental Health Postgraduate Dental Residency Program. For years, I've felt there's been a need to help those patients who just can't afford quality care but want to be treated in a private dental office setting. Shatkin Dental Health will save you 20 to 30% on the procedures you need without compromising the care you deserve.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile and receive a dental cleaning and x-rays for only $43. And as always, consultations are free.
Your kitchen is the heart of your home, so make it what you've always wanted.
Empire Granite Marble Quartz has everything you need to start your kitchen countertop makeover, all within your budget. Offering 24 months, 0% financing for a limited time. Empire has the largest indoor full slab showroom in Western New York, so visit the showroom today.
Make your dreams a reality with luxury you can afford.
Remember when you used to be able to do this? Do you wish you could again? You can be you again with mini dental implants. Call us today at the Aesthetic Associate Center for a free consultation and give us the opportunity to change your life.
Mark Aarons here with this week's Bills injury report. First, I want to congratulate safety Jordan Poyer for his AFC Defensive Player of the Week honor. Jordan didn't practice Wednesday because of a sore rib. He was joined on the sidelines by cornerback Christian Benford with a hand, wide receiver Jamison Crowder with an ankle, linebacker Tremaine Edmonds with a hammy, tight end Dawson Knox with a foot and a hammy, wide receiver Jake Kumerow with his ankle, and wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie with a concussion. Limited at practice was center Mitch Morris, offensive tackle Justin Murray, defensive tackle Ed Oliver, and Jordan Phillips. Some positive news, cornerback Cam Lewis and wide receiver Gabe Davis were back on the field and participated throughout the practice. Go to BuffaloBills.com for all your game day decisions. Go Buffalo, go Bills!
All right, there's the injury report. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin. We're going to talk about the Steelers here in a moment. But speaking of injuries, I mean, if there's one place on the Bills that's banged up, it's in the receiver core. What do you think the Bills do in terms of the roster today? You know, is it Shakir? Is it Hodgins? We're kind of waiting to see if McKenzie's ready or not. We know, obviously, Crowder's out. Gabe Davis has been hobbled. Is it Kumaro? Is he going to be healthy? Like, what are we going to do in the receiver core?
I mean, I've had some issues with the usage of Gabe Davis out there like 95% of the time because it seems like he's almost just hobbling and he's given us not really much of an effort out there. And I don't think it's his fault. I think he is injured. I believe Kumaro could play a good role in this offense if he's healthy, but I think you also should look elsewhere. I think there's people in free agency, Deshaun Jackson, who could come in and give us some speed right now. I think there's places where you can make a play here and it could help us win a Super Bowl.
The thing I noticed in the Miami game was the use of people like Morris and Gilliam as well. Maybe they use them a little bit more today against the Steelers. So let's talk a little bit about Kenny Pickett, who will start. Boy, Mr. Trubisky didn't get much of a chance, did he?
Well, he didn't play very well either.
Right.
So I think he didn't show much, to be honest. His statistics were pretty poor, and he has a pretty talented team around him. So I think it was time to put the rookie in. But he's kind of unknown. So what are we going to get from Kenny Pickett? Are we going to get 3 interceptions, or are we going to get a player who's smart like he was in college and gets the ball off on time?
And you got to remember, like you said, he's got weapons. He's got Johnson. He's got Claypool. Pickens is a terrific rookie. Freiermuth's pretty good tight end, right? And you can't forget about Najee Harris, who had almost 2,000 yards combined a year ago.
Yeah, Najee Harris is an unbelievable player too. And right now their offense just can't run the ball. And you know at some point it's going to happen. Najee Harris is going to start finding some holes. He's going to start having some big games. So they have a really talented roster offensively. The offensive line is what's holding them back. But there's definitely some players that Pickett has to work with in his first start.
You know, Najee Harris has only 19 more yards than Josh Allen going into this game, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. On the other side, they're dinged up over there. It looks like Minka Fitzpatrick's not going to play, who arguably is their best defensive player, obviously next to Watt, who we know is out. Hayward's banged up. Man, I know Mike Tomlin gets his guys to play, but when you're that deep on your roster, unless you're built like a Brandon Beane team, a lot of question marks on that side of the ball.
Well, yeah. To get your guys up to play, you have to have guys who have a little bit of talent there. And it seems like they're playing a lot of backups defensively. And I think that's where the 14-point favorite comes in, is they believe the Bills are going to be able to run the score up on a defense like this. So I kind of disagree with the 14-point favorite. But I do think that there's a chance for us to make some huge plays versus the Steelers defense.
For sure. The defense comes in 7 interceptions, tied for the league lead. Do the Steelers have, and 8 sacks coming in. All right, time for our prediction. You predicted a Bills win last week by 4. I predicted by 2. Split the difference, right?
Close, yeah.
What do you like in this game? Do the Bills cover that big spread?
You know what? I think they get close to covering the spread. I'm saying they're going to win 32-20.
I think it's interesting the way Vegas works and that the spread so many times is accurate. So I'm going to have the Bills winning by 15, 31-16 in this game. Again, great job, man. Good to have you back for another week. Thanks to Dr. Todd Shatkin, Aesthetic Associates, also I Smile Spas, Russell's, Thurman Thomas, the Bills Hall of Famer, and you for watching. This has been the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Go Bills. We'll talk to you next week.
If you would like to be a participant in the Shatkin First Down Huddle, email Mark Aarons at maarons@shatkinfirst.com. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.